Hey there, I am Amanda Morgan, a resident of Floyd County, former school teacher and stay-at-home mom at this time. I also am a consultant with Pampered Chef and love to cook. Anyone who is interested in cooking at home to eat better, healthier, to save money, save time, what I want to help you do is get dinner on your table faster. But also as you are enjoying your meal, that you're loving it, that you're skipping all the condiments and all the extra fillers because what you've made is fabulous. So what I am fixing today, and hopefully you'll be fixing it soon in your kitchen, they are called Enchurritos, however you'd like to pronounce it. There's going to be meat, and you can use a ground meat, which I'm using beef today. You could also use chicken, turkey, pork, but just choose that meat based on what you prefer. You could also go meatless. So in our household, we like to have meals based on themes, and that theme may be a meatless Monday, or Taco Tuesday, let the kids take care of it on Wednesday, pizza on Fridays. I skip Thursdays. Sometimes when we get to Wednesdays and Thursdays, we have leftovers. So whatever we've had on Monday and Tuesday, we have a nice kind of supply of leftovers for Thursdays. So what I've started out with is about 2 pounds of ground beef here in the skillet. And I'm just gonna be mixing that as it is browning. I want to get it really fine, just a personal preference there. And this recipe can really come together in just one pot. So depending on your skillets, your pots, if you have something that's microwave friendly, then you could actually fix your ground beef in the microwave and then mix it up using the same pot, or you could use cast iron on the stovetop and then move your cast iron to the oven for your baking portion. So there are a lot of variables that's gonna either make it easier for you, have less dishes. So anything I'm using today that you don't have access to in your kitchen, I'm sure you have something very similar. So that's another thing that I'm going to say about the recipe. I use recipes as a guide, not as a Bible. So what I do today may be a little bit different than the recipe that's going to be in the notes. But with that, that should just show the flexibility that you can have in your own kitchen. So keep that in mind. If you go to make a recipe and you're missing an ingredient, either look up that substitute or see what you do have on hand. Don't make an extra trip to the grocery store. That's going to cost you more in time and money, of course. So use the recipe as a guide and not something that you strictly have to follow. So a little bit more browning needs to be done here with our meat. And while that's happening, I'm going to use a microwave safe container and put our refried beans into the recipe also. My beef is now browned. And I wasn't sure how much grease it was going to have, but it's enough that I do want to strain it. So sometimes having that meat that you're straining can kind of make a mess. So a lot of times I'll just take a strainer and I'll place a paper plate underneath and it'll catch that. We don't want it going down our drains and it's too hot to put in the trash can. All right. So I'm going to be adding enchilada sauce to our beef. And this is a can of enchilada sauce, and it may come as a surprise, but this is one of the more expensive ingredients of this recipe, which I think is crazy. So you can make your own enchilada sauce using a blender or food processor and just a few ingredients. That's up to you. You can make it in bulk and you can freeze it. So 1 can of enchilada sauce with your beef. And we're going to let that simmer for about 5 minutes. Notice I said about because we're using our recipe as a guide. This is a way that I really like to get kids involved with the meal, is helping them shred cheese. So in our family, we prefer to use block cheese versus a shredded cheese, and that is totally up to you. The recipe calls for 8 ounces of cheddar, and I'm using pepper jack today. So I'm going to use a little bit less seasoning in my mixture, and because I know more flavor is coming from the pepper jack. So when you're shredding your cheese, you're able to choose the thickness of your cheese shreds, of course, but also there's less preservatives when you shred your own cheese. So my beef is on low. It doesn't need a lot of attention, just stirring it ever so often. My beans have simply been warmed in the microwave. Again, this can be a 100% microwave meal. What that would look like is fixing your burger in the microwave. I have other videos that will show how to do that. And then at the end, once you have your wraps done, they can go in the microwave as well. With your refried beans, you're going to add some cheese. And stir it. Again, this is a great job for a younger family member. There's nothing they can do to hurt this part of the process, okay? This is another opportunity for someone in your family to be involved. I'm going to be taking our bean and cheese mixture, and I'm going to be placing it on the tortilla. And again, that's where cooking at home is just so much more fun. From there, we're going to add meat. And remember, the meat has enchilada sauce. I can also use a taco seasoning. We prefer a Southwestern seasoning. So that's up to you. Remember I said we're using pepper jack, so a lot of our flavor is going to come from the pepper jack and the enchilada, and I'm going to skip on any additional seasonings. You can also add fresh onions or garlic. All right, so I'm not super fancy with this. I'm not a pro with this, so what you need to know is that if I can do it, you can do it, okay? So we're just going to be wrapping this, and if your tortilla is larger, you're going to flip it over so you truly have that burrito style. These are smaller. I chose a whole wheat. So again, that's where you have those variables, your whole wheat, your flour, your corn tortilla. And I'm going to be placing it in a casserole dish, which I've already put olive oil in. And so it just tucks there nicely. Once I top with more seasoning and cheese, it's going to kind of press that tortilla down, and it'll stay intact, okay? This is also microwave friendly, so I could finish this in the microwave or in the oven. I appreciate you joining us today for this recipe. This recipe has very few ingredients. This recipe comes together in 30 minutes or less, and you don't have to be an avid cook to make it work. So keep that in mind. If you have questions about the recipe, add that to the comments, please. I'd love to interact with you at a later time and let you know other recipes that may work out for you, but also if you have questions about this particular recipe, please let us know in the comments. So I'm going to top with cheese. That could be your pre-shredded cheese that came in a bag. That could be your cheese that you shredded in advance of warming the refried beans. And then this is what your product's going to look like before you finish it off in the microwave or in the oven. If you're doing it in the oven, everything's already cooked. Your refried beans have been warmed, your beef is cooked. You're basically just getting it to the texture that you would prefer of your tortilla as well as your cheese. So you can finish it in the microwave or the oven, that's up to you. So I am a Pampered Chef Consultant, and if you have any questions about the products that you've seen today, everything I've used is Pampered Chef. And one of the reasons I am a consultant is that the products are an amazing investment for my kitchen, and I cook more because of them, crazily enough, because of the access, the simplicity. And so, like I was mentioning, as far as doing this recipe all in the microwave, I have products that will help me do that. So if you have any questions about the products you've seen, or you'd like more information on that, please let me know. Just contact me, Amanda Morgan.